Have you ever wondered how entire cities, thriving centers of life, culture, and power, can just vanish? Swallowed by deserts, buried by ash, or forgotten beneath the waves? Hey everyone, welcome back to Should I Go, where we dive deep into the world's strangest and most fascinating places. If you love ancient mysteries, lost civilizations, and hidden history, go ahead and tap that subscribe button right now and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Today, we're counting down 8 cities buried by time, then rediscovered. And trust me, you haven't seen this list before. Forget the usual suspects. These are the buried metropolises and lost strongholds that took centuries or even millennia to find again. Some lie under mountains of earth, others are sleeping beneath the sea, and a few, they're still half buried today. So let's start our journey, counting down from number 8 to number 1, through the cities that time tried to erase, starting with number 8. Our story begins in ancient Greece, along the shimmering coastline of the Gulf of Corinth. Here stood Helike, the shining capital of the Achaean League, a city of marble temples, bronze statues, and bustling harbors. In its prime, Helike rivaled Athens in influence and wealth. The people minted their own coins, engraved with the trident of Poseidon, their patron god, and legends say the city's priests claimed they could hear the sea god's voice echoing through the waves. But in the winter of 373 BCE, something unimaginable happened. Ancient texts describe a night of unnatural calm before the disaster. Then, without warning, the ground began to convulse. Houses split apart, wells bubbled over, animals fled toward the hills. Within moments, a violent earthquake tore the earth open, and a tsunami from the Corinthian Gulf thundered inland, swallowing everything in its path. When dawn came, Helike had vanished entirely. Not a fragment of the once great city remained above the waterline. Fishermen later told of nets snagging on rooftops far beneath the surface, and philosophers like Aristotle and Strabo wrote that Helike had been engulfed by the sea as punishment for its pride. For centuries, its fate became legend. Ancient travelers claimed to see ghostly outlines of walls and columns shimmering below the waves. The Romans spoke of divers recovering statues from the deep. Even medieval monks whispered that Helike might have been the real-world inspiration for Plato's Atlantis, a moral warning about civilizations destroyed by hubris, but no one could prove where it was. That changed in 2001, when Greek archaeologists Dora Katsinopoulou and Stephen Soter discovered submerged ruins near the modern village of Rizamalos, buried in a prehistoric lagoon rather than the open sea. They unearthed 5th century BCE pottery, coins, road foundations, and collapsed temples aligned with ancient accounts. Later surveys even revealed older layers beneath, showing that Helike had been continuously inhabited for over 3,000 years before its final destruction. Today, what remains of Helike lies beneath both land and water, half sunk in sediment, half preserved by it. Walking the coastline, it's hard to believe that underfoot lies an entire city once compared to Atlantis itself. Helike reminds us that even the mightiest civilizations can vanish overnight, not through war or conquest, but by the hand of nature. The sea that gave it life took it back. Now we journey across oceans to the dense, emerald jungles of northern Colombia, where mist clings to the peaks of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the world's tallest coastal mountain range. Hidden here, cloaked by vines and cloud, lies Ciudad Perdida, the lost city. Built around 800 AD by the Tairona civilization, Ciudad Perdida predates Machu Picchu by at least 6 centuries. It once housed thousands of people across a vast complex of stone terraces, staircases, plazas, and circular dwellings carved into the mountainside. At its height, it may have been a ceremonial and political capital, connected to other Tairona towns through a network of trails and suspension bridges that wound through the rainforest. But when the Spanish arrived in the 1500s, everything changed. The Tairona resisted fiercely, retreating higher into the mountains, but smallpox, conflict, and forced conversion decimated their population. Eventually, they abandoned their cities, and the jungle took over. For 4 centuries, the world forgot Ciudad Perdida existed. Then, in 1972, a group of looters, known locally as guaqueros, stumbled upon a series of stone steps climbing the mountain. They followed them upward for days and emerged into a massive clearing of circular terraces, moss-covered walls, and gold artifacts gleaming in the soil. Word spread fast, and black market relics began appearing in nearby towns. When Colombian archaeologists arrived, they realized this was no myth. It was a true lost metropolis, one of the oldest known urban centers in the Americas. They called it Tayuna, its original name in the language of the Tyrona's descendants. Excavations revealed ceremonial plazas, intricate drainage systems, storage huts, and stone roads that vanish into the forest. Even the layout appears symbolic, built to mirror the surrounding mountains and rivers, representing harmony between nature and the divine. Today, Ciudad Perdida is protected by the Kogi and Arhuaco peoples, who still consider it sacred. Reaching it isn't easy. You must hike for 4 or 5 days through sweltering rainforest, cross rivers by rope bridges, and climb 1,200 ancient stone steps to the summit. But when you finally reach those mist-draped terraces and look out across the jungle canopy, it's easy to believe time itself stands still here. The Tyrona are gone, but their spirits, carved into every stone, still seem to watch from the mountains. Ciudad Perdida isn't just a lost city, it's a living bridge between the past and the present, hidden in plain sight. From jungle mountains, we plunge beneath the Mediterranean waves to find a city so ancient it rewrites the story of civilization itself. Off the southern coast of Laconia, Greece, near the modern village of Elefonisos, divers discovered Pavlopetri, a perfectly preserved Bronze Age port city that sank around 5,000 years ago, possibly as early as 3,500 BCE. That makes it older than most Egyptian pyramids, and possibly the oldest known underwater city in the world. When marine archaeologist Nicholas Fleming first spotted it in 1967, he couldn't believe his eyes. Under just a few meters of crystal-clear water lay an entire urban grid: streets, courtyards, building foundations, and tombs, all visible to the naked eye. Later surveys with sonar and underwater mapping revealed that Pavlopetri covered nearly 9 acres, with evidence of multi-room houses, workshops, pottery kilns, cisterns, and even a central square that functioned as a Bronze Age marketplace. It's astonishing how advanced it was. Pavlopetri had urban planning, harbor infrastructure, and signs of long-distance trade. Mycenaean pottery, obsidian from the Aegean Islands, and imported stone tools suggest it was a hub linking early Minoan Crete and mainland Greece. But then, around 1000 BCE, tectonic activity and gradual sea level rise caused the shoreline to sink. Unlike Pompeii's fiery destruction, Pavlopetri didn't fall in one cataclysmic moment. It simply drifted downward, year by year, until the sea quietly claimed it. Today, divers swimming above it describe the uncanny sensation of gliding over paved streets frozen in time. Fish dart through doorways that haven't been entered for 5 millennia. The outlines of homes still trace the patterns of families long gone. Modern researchers from the University of Nottingham have used 3D digital reconstruction to bring Pavlopetri back to life, allowing us to walk through it virtually. And remarkably, the site's preservation underwater means it's been spared looting and erosion, an untouched snapshot of human life from the dawn of cities. Pavlopetri is a reminder that the ocean floor is not empty. It's a vast archive of forgotten worlds, where entire civilizations lie sleeping beneath the waves, waiting for light to find them again. Now we travel to North Africa, where the desert keeps its secrets buried beneath dunes of wind-blown silence. Along Libya's Mediterranean coast once stood Ptolemais, a magnificent Hellenistic Roman port city that few people today have even heard of. Founded around the 3rd century BCE by followers of the Egyptian Greek ruler Ptolemy III Euergetes, it became one of the major cities of the region known as Cyrenaica, a rich land of olive groves, marble quarries, and philosophers. For centuries, Ptolemais thrived on trade between Africa, Greece, and the Levant. Massive ships loaded with grain, glass, purple dye, and marble came and went through its harbors. The city's grid plan stretched from sea to inland hills, featuring colonnaded avenues, ornate villas, public baths, theaters, and even an underground aqueduct system that carried fresh water for miles through the arid countryside, a feat of engineering that rivaled anything in Rome. But time is a cruel tide. A combination of earthquakes, invasions, and shifting sands gradually erased Ptolemais from view. The city declined after the Arab conquests in the 7th century, and the desert began its slow work. Centuries passed. Travelers and Bedouins crossed the plain above it, never realizing that beneath their camels' hooves lay entire avenues of marble. When archaeologists began excavating in the 1930s and 1940s, they were astonished. Under layers of sand and rubble, they uncovered the outlines of vast cisterns, mosaic-floored villas, and Byzantine churches converted from earlier pagan temples. Even an entire underground palace, known today as the House of Lucaxios, survived, its frescoed walls still visible in the dim light. Ptolemais was so well preserved that some streets could still be walked end to end. Inscriptions spoke of merchants from Alexandria and Rhodes, and amphorae stamped with foreign marks revealed how globalized this forgotten city once was. And yet, unlike Pompeii or Athens, Ptolemais never became a tourist magnet. Modern Libya's political instability has left it largely untouched, half buried, half awake, a ghost of empire frozen between Hellenistic elegance and Roman grandeur. It stands as a silent reminder that the desert doesn't always destroy. Sometimes, it simply hides. Beneath the shifting sands of North Africa, cities like Ptolemais still sleep, waiting for the day the wind changes and history breathes again. Far to the east, on the floodplains of the Indus River in modern-day Pakistan, lies one of humanity's greatest enigmas, Mohenjo-Daro, the Mound of the Dead. But before it was a ruin, it was a masterpiece. A city so advanced that, for a long time, archaeologists refused to believe it could have existed 4,500 years ago. Built around 2500 BCE by the Indus Valley Civilization, Mohenjo-Daro was part of a vast network of cities, Harappa, Lothal, Dholavira, all connected by trade and remarkably uniform design. The city's streets were laid out in a precise grid, aligned to cardinal directions. Each brick used in its construction was standardized in ratio, suggesting centralized control or a common cultural code. And what a city it was! Multi-story homes had private wells, drainage systems, and even bathing areas connected to covered sewers, 2,000 years before the Romans thought of plumbing. Archaeologists found granaries, public halls, and what may have been an administrative citadel overseeing the lower town. The famous Great Bath, a waterproofed brick pool lined with bitumen, hints at ritual purification ceremonies, perhaps a place where the citizens cleansed themselves spiritually and physically. But then, around 1700 BCE, the Indus civilization simply faded. No signs of war, no fire, no invasion layer, just abandonment. Theories abound: shifts in the river that left the city without water, long droughts caused by climate change, or disease outbreaks that forced mass migration. When British archaeologists rediscovered Mohenjo-Daro in the 1920s, they realized they were looking at an entirely lost chapter of human history, one that rivaled Mesopotamia and Egypt in sophistication, yet had vanished so completely that even its language was forgotten. Thousands of clay seals inscribed with mysterious pictographs have been found here. Animals, symbols, and scripts line them, but no one has ever deciphered the Indus script. No monuments, no kings, no written histories, just the silent testimony of extraordinary design. And perhaps the strangest thing, skeletal remains suggest the people of Mohenjo-Daro were peaceful. Few weapons have been found, no fortifications built for war. It seems this civilization chose order over conquest, a rarity in the ancient world. Standing amid its sun-baked ruins today, you can almost hear the echo of daily life. Potters firing clay, traders bartering grains, children playing near the Great Bath. Then you realize, this was one of humanity's first truly urban societies, and we still don't know what they called themselves. Mohenjo-Daro remains one of archaeology's most haunting mysteries, a civilization advanced enough to build plumbing and city grids, yet erased so thoroughly that even its name is lost to time. Beneath the strange lunar landscape of Cappadocia, Turkey, lies one of the most astonishing human achievements ever carved into the earth: Derinkuyu, the underground city of shadows. This region's soft volcanic rock, formed by ancient eruptions, makes it easy to tunnel through. For centuries, people here dug out small basements and wine cellars to escape the harsh climate. But Derinkuyu is on an entirely different scale. The story begins in 1963, when a local man renovating his house knocked down a wall and discovered a hidden passageway behind it. Following the tunnel, he found stairs, then rooms, and eventually a vast, multi-level labyrinth descending deep into darkness. When archaeologists arrived, they realized he'd uncovered a subterranean metropolis, a city extending more than 18 stories underground, large enough to shelter up to 20,000 people. It had everything: stables for animals, kitchens, schools, wineries, churches, communal rooms, and even a massive ventilation shaft, plunging hundreds of feet to supply air to the lowest levels. Ingeniously designed rolling stone doors could seal each section from the inside, turning the tunnels into a fortress when invaders approached. Wells provided water that couldn't be poisoned from above, and smoke from fires was funneled out through hidden vents that made it almost impossible to spot from the surface. No one knows exactly who built it. Some say the Phrygians, around the 8th century BCE. Others believe early Christians expanded it during Roman persecution, using it as a refuge where entire congregations could live for months in safety. Inscriptions found nearby suggest Derinkuyu connected to other underground cities through miles of secret tunnels, some reaching the neighboring city of Kaimakli, several kilometers away. Imagine it: families living by torchlight, livestock braying in the chambers below, priests chanting hymns that echoed through stone corridors while enemy armies trampled the ground overhead. When Derinkuyu was rediscovered, many of its rooms were still filled with artifacts: grinding stones, pottery, cruciform carvings, silent evidence of lives lived in secrecy. Modern engineers studying the site have marveled at its stability. Carved entirely by hand, without modern tools, its architecture disperses weight so evenly that it remains structurally sound after thousands of years. Today, only a fraction of Derinkuyu is open to visitors, but those who descend its narrow stairwells describe an eerie calm, as if the city still breathes beneath the surface. Derinkuyu isn't just a lost city, it's a testament to human resilience. When danger came from above, these people didn't flee into exile. They built a world beneath the earth. Our runner-up takes us to the sun-drenched island of Santorini, in the heart of the Aegean Sea, a place of whitewashed houses and blue-domed chapels perched high above the water. But long before it was a honeymoon destination, this island was home to one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient world, the Minoans, and their magnificent port city of Akrotiri. Around 1600 BCE, the island, then known as Thera, erupted in one of the largest volcanic explosions in human history. The eruption shattered the island, created the massive caldera we see today, and sent tsunamis hundreds of miles across the Mediterranean. The blast was so powerful, it may have inspired the legend of Atlantis itself. But beneath the layers of ash, time stopped. When archaeologists began excavating Akrotiri in the 1960s, led by Professor Spiridon Marinatos, they were stunned by what they found: multi-story buildings, stone staircases, indoor plumbing, and toilets that flushed using a network of pipes, technology not seen again for over 1,000 years. The city's streets were paved, lined with elegant homes whose walls still shimmered with frescoes in vivid reds, blues, and yellows. Dolphins leapt across painted seascapes, women in flowing robes carried saffron, ships sailed in festival processions beneath golden suns. The art revealed a peaceful, sophisticated people deeply connected to the sea and nature. Unlike Pompeii, no human remains have ever been found here. It seems the people of Akrotiri had enough warning to flee before the final eruption buried their city under more than 30 feet of volcanic ash. They vanished, leaving their homes perfectly preserved, pots still on stoves, jars still filled with grain, furniture intact. For centuries, the site lay hidden beneath hardened pumice, waiting for the day archaeologists would rediscover it. Today, visitors can walk on suspended walkways through the excavation halls, looking down on a Bronze Age world frozen in time. The air is dry and still, and it's easy to imagine the hum of daily life that once filled these streets. Akrotiri is sometimes called the Minoan Pompeii, but that comparison hardly does it justice. It wasn't just preserved by disaster, it was defined by it. The same eruption that destroyed it also sealed it away like a time capsule, capturing a moment when art, architecture, and human ingenuity reached extraordinary heights. Here, on the edge of Santorini's cliffs, fire met civilization, and both were immortalized together in ash. And finally, at number 1, we dive beneath the shimmering blue waters of Egypt's northern coast to a place that existed only in myth for over 1,000 years. This is Thonis-Heracleion, Egypt's sunken city at the mouth of the Nile, a port so legendary that ancient writers spoke of it with awe, but whose exact location had been lost to time. To the Egyptians, it was called Thonis. To the Greeks, Heracleion, in honor of the hero Heracles, who they believed once visited here. For centuries, it served as the main gateway to Egypt, the first port foreign traders encountered as they sailed upriver from the Mediterranean. Ships from Greece and Phoenicia unloaded goods here: wine, olive oil, gold, and incense, while Egyptian priests collected customs duties in the name of the gods. But sometime around the 8th century CE, Thonis-Heracleion disappeared. Earthquakes, rising seas, and the slow sinking of the delta's unstable clay soil caused the land to liquefy and collapse. The great temples and docks crumbled and slipped beneath the waves. By the Middle Ages, it was gone without a trace, its very name fading into legend. For over a millennium, scholars debated whether it had ever existed at all. Then, in 2000, French underwater archaeologist Frank Gaudio made one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern history. Using sonar and magnetometers to map the seafloor near Abu Qir Bay, his team uncovered colossal granite statues, temples, anchors, and even shipwrecks lying scattered across the seabed. They had found Thonis-Heracleion, submerged under 30 feet of water and 6 feet of sediment. The discoveries were breathtaking. Massive statues of Egyptian kings and queens, each weighing over 5 tons, lying half-buried in the sand. The remains of the Temple of Amun-Gareb, once the city's religious heart. Gold coins, ritual jewelry, and dozens of intact ships, more than 60 wrecks in all, each offering a frozen glimpse into a world long vanished. The mud and water had preserved everything in eerie perfection. Divers found stele inscriptions confirming the city's dual identity. Egyptian Thonis and Greek Heracleion were one and the same. They even discovered ceremonial barges believed to have carried offerings to the gods during annual processions, boats that hadn't seen sunlight in over 1,200 years. Today, the site covers an astonishing 40 square miles under the Mediterranean, making it one of the largest underwater archaeological zones in the world. And it's still being explored, each dive revealing new artifacts that rewrite what we know about Egypt's connection with the ancient Greek world. Swimming through Thonis-Heracleion is like drifting through a dream. Statues loom out of the murk like ghosts. Sand ripples across the stones of once busy markets. Columns rise from the seafloor like drowned sentinels. It's a place both beautiful and haunting, a reminder that time, water, and the earth itself can conspire to erase even the grandest of human creations. But here, beneath the waves of Egypt, that lost world has resurfaced. Thonis-Heracleion isn't just a rediscovered city, it's living proof that the line between legend and history is thinner than we think. And there you have it, 8 cities buried by time, erased by nature, and reborn through discovery. From Helike's vanished coast to the drowned halls of Heracleion, each rediscovery is a reminder of how temporary human civilization really is. We build, we rise, we fall, and sometimes we forget entirely, until someone, centuries later, stumbles upon the echoes of our past. If you enjoyed this journey, please like this video, share it with someone who loves lost history, and don't forget to subscribe for more explorations just like this one. Which of these cities would you want to explore if you could? The jungle city, the underwater port, or the underground maze? Drop your pick in the comments, I'd love to know. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and keep asking the question. Should I go?